Hey everybody, Father Bob here with Arlo for another episode of the South Campus Show. This, by the way, is our 1-year anniversary of the South Campus Show, and it's gone by quickly in this COVID times we're in. A lot of excitement, a lot of developments, and we continue to meet with you every Thursday at noon. Thanks for tuning in. I've got parishioner Jim Moss, who's our guest today. Thank you, Jim, for being here.
Having me.
Yeah. And Jim, I remember you and Debbie joined the parish back in 2000.
2000. Yes.
2000, and St. Victoria's a little smaller back then.
Much.
So was Victoria, and your kids, Jay and Kate, they went to Holy Family, right?
They did.
What are they up to now?
Interesting you should ask. Jay, both Katie and Jay were married last summer. And Jay and his wife, they live here in Victoria. They've been here now, they bought the home back in, I don't know, November, I believe. And Katie and her husband, Tom Freeman, they live in Minnetonka, so they're close. Jay works for a fellow parishioner, Kevin King. He's running their center over in St. Paul. And Katie, I was telling John earlier, Katie is working for me now. I started a company in January, and Katie's working for me.
Wow. You could have planned it that way. That's how it worked out. But it's just a little bit about your company.
Yeah, I sell food packaging.
Okay.
So I'm a manufacturer's rep. I represent a number of different companies, and I sell food packaging to supermarkets, convenience stores, restaurants, food manufacturers. So just a variety of different type products that we all use every day, from deli bags to carryouts. In the world of COVID, you go to the restaurant, you get carryouts, those type of containers.
So COVID may have even helped your business, maybe?
Last year, it's a little uncomfortable for me to say, but last year was our best year.
Yep.
Just, for us to benefit from such a horrible event.
Right.
But it's been needed to keep us all safe, and so it was good.
Sure. And it's, knowing that COVID has hit some businesses really hard, taking them down, others have helped, but it's for the service of the community and in hard times, and that's a good thing, like you say. So wonderful. Well, Jay was he a classmate of Colin King?
Jay was younger. Jay was a classmate of Brian King.
Okay.
And Colin was a year older than Jay.
Got it. So I remember those days at Holy Family.
Oh, they do. They still talk of them.
Yeah, and it's gone quickly. So anyhow, with our South Campus Show, from time to time, we like to feature a ministry that's part of the parish family, and you've got an interesting uniform on, Jim. Maybe you can tell us a little bit, because it has to do with your ministry. Tell us about the ministry you're representing.
Yeah, it's Arlo Safety Scouts, and this was just an idea that I had along with some other folks probably 3 years ago, maybe more, and it took a while to get it off the ground, but we wanted to have a ministry that was in front and noticeable, but it was welcoming to all, both the members of the Arlo Scouts as well as all parishioners. And so we had the idea of forming Arlo Safety Scouts. And what we do is, in normal times, and hopefully we'll be there soon, we'll staff the Safety Scouts, and we'll position a Safety Scout prior to each Mass out in front of church. And it's really quite enjoyable. Except on the 20 below days, it can be a little tough.
But they're there. That's impressive.
We work through it. But we started for a couple reasons. One, we wanted to try to be the face and hands of Jesus and welcome parishioners, both new and old, and guests, and to be out in front with the vest on. We're very noticeable. So if someone is, a visitor or a guest, they may have a question, they know that they can come and talk to us. We also wanted to be there just for everyone's safety. For a couple different reasons. One, should anyone ever have a health issue in the parking lot, if they're running late to church and they're one of the last ones in, if they haven't, we always thought that if there was ever an issue in the parking lot, if someone wasn't there to keep an eye over the parking lot, they could sit there for a half an hour. It's funny, the very first time that I did Arlo Scouts, it was an interesting thing. I was standing in front of church, and because we normally stand out in front of church during Mass. So we're out, we get there half an hour before Mass, and we stand outside or inside the vestibule, and then stay there until after church is released and most people have gone. But I was standing there outside. It was a nice fall evening, and it was at 5 o'clock on a Saturday. And I'm standing there, and all of a sudden I hear a car alarm going off. It's like, what the heck? And I'm looking around, and so I start to walk back, and I find the car. And there was a little young boy, probably, I don't know, 8 years old. And he was trying to hide from me. And it's like, what's going on? And come to find out, he was in his car, and he had forgot his shoes. So I don't know how you forget your shoes, but he went back to get his shoes out of the car, and the car was locked, and it set off the alarm. So he didn't know what to do. So we helped him get his shoes, and he got back in, and we laugh about it now, but it was quite disturbing at first. The very first Saturday we started the ministry, and all of a sudden the car alarms are going off. It's like, what the heck,
Wow.
But that's an example. Also, over the past couple of years, we worked with the Victoria Fire Department, and we had training for CPR and just very basic health safety training. We have a safety kit and learn how to use the defibrillator. Luckily, to my knowledge, we've never had to use it, but it's been a great thing to help expand everyone's knowledge, and that's a skill that you can take out in the public. So
Sure, beautiful. It's an extension, I love, of the hospitality, the welcome we offer, being the face of hands of Jesus. We've got the greeter ushers, the Team Isaiah, and then into the parking lot as goes out. Arlo Safety Scouts, and of course you do ministry. In the name of Jesus, you're always going to have some stories after a time. And I love the story about the 8-year-old. That would be a future Arlo Scout.
I hope so.
Sees the value of it. But so it is a great service, and quietly, and the fluorescent vests are easily identifiable. And so if you want to be part of this, how do you go about that? I mean, what's involved? How often? That kind of thing.
Let's take the last question first. What's involved? It's one of the things when I started the ministry, I wanted to make sure that I was not overbearing and unrealistic with the requirements, and I made a commitment to myself and all of the Scout members that signed up initially, and since then I've made a commitment, and it's up to them, but I will only schedule them for one Mass a month. Every 4 weeks, one Mass, an hour and a half a month. And of course, if they want to take on additional Masses, we love that. We're always in need of additional Scouts. The requirement is 18 years or older. That's something that you, along with Deacon Ray and I, talked about, and John made sense, as far as responsibility-wise. So 18 years and just a willingness to volunteer for an hour and a half a month. What we do is again, in normal times, we'll arrive at church half hour before Mass, we'll don our vest, and we'll stand up front. Welcome everyone. If someone's needing some help getting in and out of a car with a wheelchair, if they have crutches, what have you, we're happy to help. But just stand there and just welcome everyone as they walk in. I know the greeter ushers do that as well. Sometimes they'll come out and join us. Sometimes they'll be inside the church. But that's pretty much it as far as what the responsibilities are.
Not a great deal of time, but a great service. And I can tell you, Arlo's very excited about this ministry, and he's all for it. I noticed it's interesting, he's been with you the whole time today. So I think he knows it's in his name, but kind of unique to parishes. I mean, other parishes I'm sure have something like that, but we've got the name, Arlo Safety Scout.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Got a copyright on that. But so what I love about this, Jim, you said you didn't want to be overbearing or impose this somehow. It's just to me this is what parish life is about. Parishioners taking ownership for their parish, taking pride in their parish, and saying, "I'm willing. Here's an idea. I'm willing to make that happen." And you've done that beautifully. It's a model of how I, as pastor, we as staff, want to turn the parish over to the people and let them own it. And it's all of it's for all of us. It's no one person. It's not your parish father. No, it's our parish, and I love that. Our parish family. So, Jim, thanks for being with us. We have, as always, a question from the Magic Cat. If you're up for it here.
Before we go there,
yeah,
I forgot to answer one of your questions. How would someone become, if someone's interested in becoming involved, what do they do?
What do they do?
If they would just reach out to John Abel,
okay,
or anyone inside the parish office, they will forward the information to me. If they know me personally already and they have my number, they're welcome to call me, or if they see me at Mass. Any way they choose to get that information to me that they're involved, we're more than happy. We can never have too many members. Right now we're limited to, we're kind of at one person per Mass. We would love to have 2 or 3 if we can put teams together. If you would like to do it with a spouse or a brother or a sister, we're not opposed to putting teams together as well. So if you would be so kind to generate or volunteer a little of your time, we'd love to take you on and we'll work with you.
Nice. Got a bit of a sales guy in you. I can hear the manufacturer's rep coming out. By the way, my dad was a manufacturer's rep.
Is that right?
Yeah. So that's great. But without further ado, the question, here comes the Magic Cat.
The
Jim.
Magic Cat.
Just take from see what you get.
Wow. What do you think life will be like in 100 years? Boy, that's a tough one. Boy, in 100 years, I hope and pray that we can all be a little more understanding of each other. I hope that we don't lose, especially here in the United States and in this community, I hope we don't lose a little of the history. I think the history is important. None of us will be here in 100 years, but I hope we're not all forgotten in 100 years. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense, whether it's great-great-great-grandkids of mine and few priests down the road and still remember Father Bob. I don't want to be forgotten. Mm-hmm. So I hope, personally, 100 years from now, I hope Victoria still has a lot of the same feeling of community that it has now.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, Tim. That one question, we could talk an hour on that one.
Yeah.
It's really a good question. But I would hope the same, and none of us will be here per se. We'll be with the Lord in a different way, but and I'll be in the pushing daisies in the St. Victoria Parish Cemetery. I've got my plot, But legacy in the world. With, we can contribute today for what the world might be in 100 years. I believe that, and that's what the gospel invites us to. So I didn't plan that question, but you responded beautifully to it. It's give me some ideas. Jim, it's been great having you, and just to close out, I do this typically. Thought, folks, for the as you ponder the Passion of Jesus, which is Palm Sunday, you hear the Passion read twice this Holy Week, Palm Sunday, Good Friday. I encourage you to ponder it and pray over the Passion, and maybe listen for the episode within all that drama of 24 hours that speaks to you. There's so much there. Jesus in the garden, Peter slicing off the ear of the servant, Jesus, the torture and the cross itself, and those who stood and as he breathed his last. So what part of the Passion speaks to you? That would be it. Thought for the day, peace is not an absence of conflict, but it's coping with conflict by peaceful means, as Jesus did on the cross. That's what the gospel is about. Thanks for tuning in. Be well. Hope to see you next week, Holy Thursday. Thank you. And thank you, Jim.
Thank you for having me.